Hello fellow YouTubers, I'm back. My name is Jacques on the Moving Icon channel, and I'm here to share my art, share my techniques, and share my creativity with you. A little while back I did a little video on what's in my camera bag. I just basically scratched the surface on stuff I liked, stuff I used, and so that's it. I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Today I want to talk about the A6000, the Alpha 6000 by Sony. And I just want to say that, first of all, there's a little disclaimer I want to shoot out there, is that, you know, I'm a videographer. I do a lot of photos for where I work and everything. So I sort of know what I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna come out here and tell you this is how you got to do stuff. It's up to you, and this is all IMHO in my humble opinion. So there's a lot of videos out there. I think Gary Fong and a couple of others have videos on how amazing the Alpha 6000 is, and you know what? I wholeheartedly agree. And I want to say that before I start this video, because the video is called "The Cons of the A6000" for me, in my experience. So I don't want to say that this is a bad camera, and I don't want to say that it's crappy. I just want to make sure that people understand that there are some things and that Sony could work on, and I'm trying to send it maybe out to them. I think that's the idea, is that for the next A7000 or the 6100 or the 6000D, 6000X or whatever, they can check a couple things. So here it is. Here's the camera. Here it is, the Sony Alpha 6000. Right off the bat, just to go across a couple of things that are very cool about this camera. It's very small. It's got a small form factor. It's got an APS-C sensor on this little tiny miniature thing. It's just fantastic. So for that stuff, it is really, really, really cool. I've used it a lot. Recently, I used it on a couple of shows, and I'll talk about that. When I do my shows and I photograph shows, there's a lot of action and it happens quick. So the whole idea of 12 frames a second for me is really, really cool. Now, here are the cons, though, about this camera. If you want to check the pros, I think there's no problem going out there and finding. I might leave a couple of links in my in this video, just to tell you where to go to check out the pros of this camera. But here are the cons for me and my experience. First thing is the battery life on these cameras. You get this little small battery like this. Right off the bat, I got the camera, and within a week I had to go and go on a couple Chinese sites and pick up and order some batteries that did the trick. Now, on that note, I want to talk about what happened. Because I wanted to get better battery life, you know, I did what I did with my Canon 6D. I went out and said, is there a battery grip for this camera? Guess what? No battery grip possibilities exists. There is one, and it's this thing, this Chinese thing, and it's not very good. Unlike a normal battery grip, like the Canon right here, what happens is the Canon has a device that goes up into the old battery pack. You take the door off, the battery door off, and you put this in, and all the connections are connected. So your battery grip, you actually have controls here on the side to actually control your camera here. Unfortunately, because the door on the, it might not be because of that, but this door, first of all, does not come off. It doesn't come off at all. And you have to put a little battery pack in here that attaches to this. This grip is unbelievable. You can't even control any sort of controls on the device on the top. So you have to plug in a plug that goes across, that makes a bridge so that at least you can have shutter release on the top button. So that's it for this battery grip. It's not very good. Now, another thing that is not cool, and it's still in the same area of the camera, is the card placement. You have to open this door to get to your card, which is just profoundly uncool. A lot of manufacturers still keep on doing this. There must be a big reason. If anyone knows it, please shout out and tell me what's going on, because it's uncool. You know, I have a 6D, and just that little idea of having the door on the side is very, very, very cool. So I just wanted to say that having the card underneath to open it up is just not fun for a lot of reasons. You put a tripod on here. If ever the plate is too wide, you can't open your door while you're in the middle of a shoot. There's nothing worse than that type of stuff, like when you're using it for filming. I've just noticed now that a lot of my my cons have to do with filming, so you know, you can take or leave. So there you go. Card placement is not fun. Next thing is the articulating screen. This articulating screen. Please, somebody out there tell me, what the fuck is Sony thinking about keeping this thing? It has been there for I don't know how long. Other manufacturers, Canon, Panasonic, all of them come out with the screen that comes out. In the age of YouTubers and everything, when people want to see themselves while they're filming, how many people film alone at their house? You cannot do this with the articulating screen. Here's all you got. You have up like this and back out like that. You can also go down a bit, not a lot, just a tiny bit. So when you have the camera like this and you're filming yourself, you cannot film yourself. You can't look at yourself being filmed. You can't frame, so you have to go around the camera, which has always been a drag in every case, you know. So I just wanted to say that the articulating screen, a big no-go for me. Now another thing, back to power again. What happens is you can buy a power adapter that goes into this. Sony just sells it too expensive. It's just too expensive. It's a battery pack. If you're filming, you want to have that type of thing where you stick this. It's an adapter that goes into the battery pack again with a little mini door. Here it is, little mini door that opens up. I don't know if you can catch that, but there's like a mini door there that opens up and you stick it in. So that's another thing that's just quite a drag. So anything involving power and getting power to this thing is pretty piss poor. The battery grip that exists is piss poor. Battery life is null. It's just completely, it's just borderline useless. A bit less battery life, and this thing, it would be a real drag to have as a camera. I'm talking about even for just shooting photos, not only for video. So there's another point. Yes, it does 12 shots per second, which is just a fantastic thing, a really, really cool thing. But there's a little downside to all of that, and I will show you in a second, is that when you're shooting, for example, if you're doing a show or something like that, most shows, especially theater, but a lot of shows when you're shooting, you want to pop off those frames. That's the cool part about it. There's no doubt about it. If there's action or something moving around, if you can pop off 12 frames like this, it is super cool. The problem is the amount of noise that it makes. If there's a button on here that can take away that sound, please tell me, guys. I don't know. I haven't found it. I'm not the type of guy to go nuts on learning a manual, but check it out. So I just wanted you to say that whenever you're doing low volume stuff, in every show there's a point where there's a silence, and in that silence, about 80% of the time you want to get the shots in that silence because there's either drama or emotion happening. And if the audience is watching the show and all of a sudden you're there, it's uncool for everybody. It's just not a fun thing. So that's another thing that's a bit of a drag. I don't know if they can fix it. It might have something to do with the shutter itself. An excellent camera, great camera. I just wanted to go through that list of stuff as a videographer and photographer for events, why some of the things that bother me about this camera. So if you have any comments, anything to say about this video, please tell me. If there's something I should correct, something I said wrong, please just write it, and I will come back and try to correct it the next time I have a video. And if you like, subscribe, and have a nice day, and hope you enjoyed this.